$15. So excited! Today we are going to the first annual Midwest Tropical Show. This was something that a local houseplant club decided to put together, and I'm really excited to see what it's all about. It's at Ted Lare Garden Center, which is a garden center that I come plant shopping at all the time, but basically they brought in a ton of different other plant shops and other plant vendors, and so there's just a million people selling plants along with food trucks and just, I don't know, I haven't gone in, but it should be super fun. I think it's going to be insanely busy. You could see like a bunch of the traffic behind me. I have never seen Ted Lare this busy. All the parking spots are full. I'm like parked on the side of an area. I had a parallel park and everything. So I don't really know what this is going to be like. I don't know what it's going to be like filming, but I'm going to do the best I can for you guys. Yeah, that's about it. So let's just go ahead inside and see what this is all about. I do have on my red Maranta earrings and a tropical plant shirt for the occasion, of course. All right, this is a good sign. I jumped immediately to that bottom portion, 25% off houseplants. That's super exciting. So they have their normal houseplants, and then it looks like they also have vendors out here and like in this greenhouse as well. So I think I'm gonna hit their normal houseplants last, probably. So here we are in the Plant for Good booth, which I was so excited to hit because I've been following Plant for Good on Instagram for so long. She has so many different anthuriums, lots and lots of hybrids like this one. And if I sound a little bit different, I'm speaking in past tense, maybe my sound quality is a little bit better. That's because the whole event was a little bit loud, and so instead of trying to speak over everyone and worrying about that, I decided to just voice it over after the fact. So just so you know what's going on, now you know. And she had these anthurium clarinerviums for $25, which I thought was a good price. I know that those are pretty common in a lot of places, but I really don't see those very often around here in Iowa. I actually see anthurium hybrids in stores probably more often than I see like just a pure, anthurium on the shelves. This was quite the crazy cross. It was like crossed 2 times, which is such a pretty anthurium. I don't really know if the crosses help them like be stronger plants, or if it's just more for the look of the leaf, or if it's just fun. I don't know about you guys, but I really love watching YouTube videos of people who take the anthurium seeds and like mix it with, like they mix the pollen of like different plants to get berries and then plant them. It's so cool. Now this one, oh my gosh, looking back, I wish I owned this anthurium. Look at it, anthurium Dr. Block F2 for $150. Looking back, it's just so pretty. It's so pretty. I guess that was a spoiler that I didn't buy this one. I'll try not to do that with the rest of the voiceovers, but I honestly, when I was in person that day, I feel like I was like, oh, pretty plant. Sometimes you watch these back and I can just pick up on so many more things. There's another anthurium forgetii for $25. This one is an anthurium magnificum and crystallinum cross for $30. They've got kind of elongated leaves. She also had a monstera albo. I'm not quite sure on the price for this one, but it was very, very creamy white. Over here was Pots and Shots, their booth. Pots and Shots is a local like combination houseplant bar situation. It's a really, really cool shop. I've been quite a few times with my cousin, and all of their drinks are like plant themed, and it's just a good time. And I don't know what these plants were. They weren't labeled. Some kind of like alocasia, perhaps. Over here, there's an epipremnum, pinnatum, albo. There were quite a few plants poking out of the pot, which is really nice. This was absolutely gorgeous. It was an anthurium portilla dreams for $100. I've never heard of this anthurium. It was very scaly, big leafed. Let me know if you own that one and if it's an easy plant or not. Over here is a variegated Hoya compacta for $34.99. I think that these are such cool plants. I noticed with my Hoya compacta that it stayed pretty stagnant for a long time and then finally started growing. And even when they do grow, they grow very slowly. Over here was a Hoya obovata for $24.99. I felt like that was a really good price for how full that plant was. And Hoya obovatas are just like really steady, easy growing Hoyas. They're great, great plants. I have two actually. This was an anthurium magnificum silver for $50, sitting right next to this plant, which we'll see when it pops up. Ooh, I am not even going to try to pronounce that. What an interesting plant. And I didn't get a price on that one. Never seen that before. I think that was just a bigger leaf of that same plant. Really, really cool looking. There was a Ficus shiveriana for $40. Do you remember when those were like $100 a piece, at least for that size? Because I do. This was an Astrophytum Bishop Cap for $30. And there were some monkey toe cacti for $45 hanging up there. On the other side, there are a few more plants. This is a monstera Thai constellation. I didn't quite catch the price on this one, but very cute little leaves. I actually filmed this just before the like huge, I don't know if this happened everywhere, if it was just Iowa, but basically like every grocery store got monstera Thai constellations for $30, and they were just everywhere because they were tissue cultured. But this was actually filmed just before that happened. So you'll see some Thai constellations in here that are priced higher than kind of we saw in grocery stores shortly after this. There was a monstera albo looking just a little bit crispy, but that's okay. Oh, this was such a beautiful variegated monstera adansonii for $180. And it was just really pretty. I don't have one of those, but monstera adansonii is like one of the easiest growers. Here's another anthurium for $60. I am not going to pronounce the P word because I'm just not even going to try. And then a Syngonium albo. Just one little leaf there, but it looks like a good leaf. A very pretty looking leaf. And then a Philodendron bilietiae. I think those also got tissue cultured because I've seen those for sale quite a bit more in stores than I used to. This was a queen anthurium for $120. That's such a beautiful anthurium. I've heard they're really difficult, but they're so pretty. And then this one's an anthurium magnificum silver for $65. Just behind it was this really interesting anthurium. It looks like it's from Equigenera. They actually had an Equigenera pop up at Pots and Shots. I wasn't able to go, but it would have been really cool. And the next place was Back Alley Houseplants, which is in Ames, Iowa, which is about 45 minutes away from the Des Moines metro area. And I've wanted to go in person, but I never have. So it was really, really nice to see all of their plants and the pottery. So they're known, they hold in their stores, they have a ton of handmade pottery. They're kind of known for it. And so I was really excited to see just how gorgeous so much of this pottery was. I love that strawberry one in the back. You'll see it a little bit better. Yep, there it is. The strawberry one is so cute. And they also, of course, had plants at a Philodendron Burl Marks Fantasy. That's on my wish list. Philodendron Majestic for $35. And like lots of little plants. Oh my gosh, that one's kind of like the strawberry pot. And this was in Anthurium crystallinum for $45. Next to a Syngonium erythrophyllum lanocardi. Not going to try to pronounce that. I just did, I guess, but I didn't do it well. That one was $15. And then an Anthurium silver blush for $85. That's such a pretty anthurium. Look at that leaf. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so pretty. I'd never seen one of those in real life until this day. So as you can imagine, I was freaking out. And a Monstera siltepecana El Salvador for $45. Also a very pretty plant, very veiny. A lot of these plants are really veiny, actually, now that I'm really thinking about it. Another crystallinum for $45. And just below it, there was a Monstera adansonii mint with pretty big leaves, I would say, like growing pretty decently. And actually quite a few Monstera adansonii mints of various different sizes. We also had a Philodendron mame. They're very like pillowy leaves, in my opinion. Philodendron squamiferum for $25. I had that on my wish list for a long time until I got one, I think 2 summers ago, maybe at this point. Over here is an epipremnum amplissimum variegated for $65. I just love the non-variegated one too. They're really pretty. Philodendron silver stripe for $55. That is such a great plant, such an easy grower. And then over here is a Botanically Beautiful, their booth, and I've purchased from Botanically Beautiful before. They're super great. She often has nodes for sale, so that was a Red Anderson node. Kind of a bit of a bigger monstera tie for $150. Domino peace lily for $10. That's such a great plant, super underrated. Sensation peace lily for $10, just a little guy. And then over here was a philodendron painted lady for $25, and there were actually quite a few plants in the pot, which is really nice. And I find painted ladies to be pretty quick growers and like extremely easy plants to grow. Over here is a Baltic begonia for $10. Very pretty. I really think I need to expand the amount of begonias in my collection. I think I literally only have one, and I really would like to have more. There's a Hoya coroniana super splash for $10, and a variegated Hoya obovata with very, very like impeccable variegation on that one. I've seen so many Hoya obovatas with really not impressive variegation. That was not the case here. Oh my gosh, she had this light veins maranta for $45. I look at her light veins marantas every single time I see her plants. That is so stunning. And a Hoya Matilde for $15, just a little one. Over here is the Elite Leaf, and this was the first time I'd ever shopped at the Elite Leaf, and she just had so many plants I've never seen before, like this Hoya bilobata type. I'm not going to try to pronounce that either. And a Hoya rosita for $15, Hoya endoanensis for $25, and then a Dischidia tonsuensis for $30, all hanging in these cute little cups. So cute. A Hoya gadungading for $45. Say that 5 times fast. Not going to try to say that Dischidia name, but you get the point. There's so many really pretty plants. I love Hoya schleanas and this Dischidia as well. So I think this is a really great vendor to look at. And of course, I'll link everyone's Instagrams and websites and absolutely everything I can down below. And so many of these different shops ship online as well. So even if you're not in Iowa or the Midwest, I would definitely recommend checking them out if any of these plants interest you. This was an Amidrium zippolinum variegated, and I've never, ever seen that before. It's absolutely beautiful. Along with this Monstera albo for $490. That was like the perfect Monstera albo specimen, just like the perfect amount of variegation. This is another Hoya ganungading for $45. I can't get enough of saying that, honestly. Something about this plant, like, just was so satisfying the way the leaves grew. It was a $1,200 plant. I didn't catch the name of it, but I'm sure it was very rare. If you know it, please feel free to put it in the comments below. This was a Scindapsus Silver Lady for $25. And this one over here was a Hoya SO5 55 for $30. Next to a Hoya Viola for $25. And a Hoya Joy for $35. So many Hoyas. Hoya Clandestina for $25. This one was a Hoya Rangsan for $60. Quite pretty. I'm learning more about Hoyas. I'm always learning more. This was a Scindapsus Jade Satin Aurea variegated for $45. Absolutely gorgeous. Never seen one of those. Hoya Lacunosa Sulcata for $45. Just lots of like cute little plants. This was a Philodendron Brawl Marks Mint for $400. It was very exciting to look at so many expensive plants, let me tell you. This one was also $400. It was very pretty. I do think my normal variegated Brawl Marks looks very similar though. And a Midrium Mint for $300. Every time I was picking these up, guys, I was like, these are so expensive. I don't want to break them or have anything happen to them. Hoya Polynura Silver for $40. This was such a cool Hoya. Oh my goodness, for $85. Intervariegated. Absolutely stunning. I love the ruffle on the leaf. Very pretty. Another Amidrium Mint for $300. And over here was a Hoya Lacunosa Golden Flame for $40. This one, a Hoya Kennegiana Outer Variegated. And a Hoya Lacunosa Moonshine for $35. This is a Hoya Polynura Alba Marginata. I actually really want a Hoya Polynura. Something about the way that their leaves grow reminds me of a mermaid's tail, and I just really like how they look. Here's another Amidrium zippolinum variegated, but a small one, because I showed you that big one sort of at the beginning when we ventured over to this table, and they're such cool plants. She also had Nemidrium silver and a Hoya carrii inner spot variegated for $125. Philodendron micans mint variegated for $250, which that is such a rare plant. I really never see those. And a Philodendron domesticum variegated for $45. Next to this, I believe, epipremnum. We'll see if I'm right. Yep, epipremnum pinnatum aurea for $40. Such pretty plants. And this one is a Hoya. That's a Hoya? That's really cool looking. Like I said, sometimes you watch these back and things just look a little different. And this was so pretty. It's a Philodendron orange princess for $550. And next to this epipremnum pinnatum aurea for $150. Look at that fenestration. Oh my goodness, so pretty. So the next little section we went to was at the Trendy Gardener. And this, he had a ton of different plants. This is a Philodendron white knight for $50, next to a Philodendron bilietiae. And I've actually shopped at the Trendy Gardener before. I will make sure to link the plant shopping video down below if you're interested in seeing what his shop looks like. It's some Ficus shiverianas and a ton of variegated heartleaf philodendrons for $72. But something to keep in mind that I should really mention is that so many of these different vendors were offering discounts. So I can't remember what he was actually selling these at, but it was not $72. So really, the price that you're seeing on these plants is, for the most part, not what people were actually charging. It was usually much, much cheaper, where they had like 20% off all plants, just straight up offering way less. He had a ton of little philodendron snowdrifts that were super cute. And look at all of these anthurium. So many different ones. These were anthurium clarinerviums for $50. And basically, so many of the vendors were just like, we don't want to take all these plants home. Like, they were there to sell. They didn't want to take these, they didn't want to haul these plants back to their shops. They wanted these plants to go to a good home, which was such a blast to be out shopping in that kind of environment. It was just a blast generally. It was great to talk to everyone. And it was insane that anyone knew who I was. I talked to a few fans and of the YouTube channel, and it was so surreal, and it was so awesome meeting you guys, I have to say. And I'm just so thankful that anyone watches these videos at all. So thank you so much. And if you ever see me at a plant shop, please say hi, or anywhere. He had a ton of giant plants back here. I was especially impressed by this philodendron painted lady. Oh, it really makes me want to grow mine up a moss pole, to have it grow those big, big leaves. And of course, all of these monstera constellations were absolutely stunning. The most fenestrated, gorgeous, mature leaves. And the next little shop was the Foliage Studio. And when I filmed this, there you can see me in the reflection. When I filmed this, I was looking for pots, just generally, like in life. I was running low on pots. So I was seeing the prices on like the bigger pots, and then also this little pot. You know what? I always just kind of need pots. But then I started looking again at the plants, and this was an anthurium magnificum for $70. Another very, very veiny anthurium. Up here was this gorgeous monstera albo for $275. I really want a monstera albo. That is super high on my wish list. I'm just looking for the right one for the right price. What a gorgeous plant. And yeah, I just need one to go with my monstera constellation. And there's this little baby queen anthurium for $115. That is also on my wish list, right next to this philodendron mayoi for only $10. Just a little baby guy. And right here was a Schistoglotis neguensis for $12. Again, just a little guy. And a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma for $20. Oh my gosh, this syngonium was so pretty. I really love syngonium. I really love pink syngoniums too. This one was a red spot tricolor, but sure looks pink to me. And this one was another amplyssimum. I mentioned earlier that I really like the non-variegated ones, and there's an example of a non-variegated one. Very, very pretty. And this was an Aglaonema spathonema for $8. Aglaonemas are very good low light plants, really easy care. And right behind it, there's an anthurium forgetii for $40. Those are so weirdly shaped to me. And then a little baby, tiniest little baby Hoya compacta variegata right next to the tiniest little baby monstera Thai constellation for $60. And oh, okay, over here was the plant nannies. So this is such a cool business where you can basically, exactly what it sounds like, have someone come and take care of your plants. Look at all these services. I'll definitely link this down below if you're in the area and you're interested. And it was just, so the owner is so nice. Definitely would recommend reaching out. This was another shop that I didn't catch the name of. I think I might... Oh, guys. So this is Sylvia's shop. She had all these little anthurium veitchii and this monstera albo. I will talk more about Sylvia and her shop as we get through this video. So just stay tuned. She had this syngonium milk confetti for $10, monstera albo for $120, and that was a really good monstera albo. That was a really good specimen. Variegated ZZ plant for $65. I felt like her plants were just so healthy and happy and just looked great all around. A tiny little monstera Thai for $25 and an epipremnum pinnatum neon variegated for $40. That was a really pretty plant. She had a bunch of variegated heartleaf philodendrons for $30. A bunch of really, really nice ones. And over here was a syngonium. Not quite sure what the name on that one was, but this one is a syngonium aurea for $30. I used to have one of those, but unfortunately it passed away. They're very pretty. I really love syngonium. And that one's really quite pretty too. We're back to the anthurium blush. Here's another one. Back Alley Houseplants had that first one I shared. Such a pretty plant. This one's a Saracetus mirabilis for $120. This was such an interesting plant. If you own that plant, please let me know and tell me what you think of it. And this is Planted.DBQ, which I believe is Dubuque. I think that's where they're located in Iowa. She had this Scindapsus tribui dark form over here. I think that's a plomanii. Yep, philodendron, plomanii, very pillowy leaves. And again, these plants just look so healthy. This is a Florida Beauty. Oh my gosh, that's also on my wish list. What a pretty, pretty plant. I didn't catch a price on this one, but it was just absolutely gorgeous. And there's this monstera aurea for $600. Definitely one of the pricier plants in the entire area. And this gorgeous monstera albo. Very, very happy. Look at the aerial roots back there. Just looking so, so good. Guys, I really want a monstera albo. This is making me really want one. And there's this Rhaphidophora tetrasperma variegated for $250. You really don't see variegated ones very often. And this monstera albo for $125. That's closer to about the price that I want to pay for a monstera albo. Maybe less if I can get away with it, but probably not. There's also this variegated heartleaf philodendron for $25. And one other thing I liked about this shop was that the pots that the plants were in were just really thick and nice. Like they were just good plastic pots. There's a variegated micans back there, which are so hard to find. Absolutely beautiful. But then guys, this philodendron bilietiae variegated, what a stunner with this caramel marble philodendron. Also a complete stunner, gorgeous. Then I went back inside to the greenhouse and I checked out the plant dealer, and she had this variegated Burl Marks philodendron over here and a philodendron Pariso verde. And if you haven't heard me talk about the plant dealer before, I have plenty of plant shopping videos at the plant dealer that I will link. And actually the previous owner of the plant dealer, Jenna, just sold her company to Sylvia fairly recently. So now both shops have really became one, and kind of the plant dealer's main, I don't want to say gimmick, but like main product is plant boxes. So you can like get mystery boxes shipped to you. And I did that fairly early on into my plant collecting journey, and it was a really awesome way to experience a bunch of different plants and try them out. And I still have so many of them to this day, and they've all done so well. She has a bunch of monstera siltipicanas, which have really grown on me. They're quite a pretty plant, very veiny, probably like the veiniest monstera that I know of. And then there was a Syngonium Batik and a Syngonium Three Kings. That is such an underrated Syngonium in my opinion. They're quite pretty. And then over here was Planted with Grace Vintage. And this was the first time that I've seen any of her products, her curated vintage items in person. Again, I followed this account on Instagram for quite some time, so it was really fun to see in person. And guys, I just went absolutely nuts. I was so excited about everything. Look at this little bird. So cute. It was $10. And I've since seen those in other places, and you can get a bunch of birds and like put them on your wall and they look like they're flying. It's so fun. There was this little frame for $4, and what a cool pot this was for $28. Very, very interesting looking. Kind of looks like a flower with a really interesting botanical print behind it in a frame. I really like these little easels. I feel like they're just really handy to have around your house. You can put different things on it, like pictures, or like I have a calendar on mine, which is really nice if you don't have a wall, and you can just put a calendar up on there. It's very handy. She had a ton of really nice frames and prints, which is just generally something I tend to look for because you can't have too many. And there's me in this little mirror showing me feel like Beauty and the Beast to pick up. Really, really cool. I think Beauty and the Beast had a mirror. I'm pretty sure. For whatever reason that comes to mind. And I was checking all of these pots for holes in the bottom. I'm a really big hole in the bottom of your pot girly. If it's not there, I have to drill it in, and frankly, I find that exhausting. So I really prefer when the hole is already there and I don't have to do anything. And this purple pot was vintage, absolutely beautiful. I really liked the way that the stripes went in different directions. Just a really, really interesting pot that I've never seen before. And this yellow one was quite pretty as well. And I find that yellow pots look really good against green leaves. So they're just a really good pot color to have around the house. And there was a bunch over here that I looked at. Again, here's a yellow one, so I'm immediately interested, but no hole in the bottom, unfortunately. But I felt like these are all decently priced too, so obviously I had an absolute ball picking out what I was going to buy. Make sure to stay tuned to the end for a haul of all of the stuff that I bought. And I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert and tell you that I did not buy this planter, and I really regret it. It even had a hole. Why didn't I buy it, guys? It's so fun and just super interesting. I don't have anything like that in my house. Really wish I would have bought it. And there's this another yellow pot. Always looking for those, but no hole in the bottom. And this pot was really, really cool. It kind of reminds me of that one that I just mentioned that I unfortunately left behind. And a little tip, if you always need saucers for your plants, you can just use old, like vintage or collected little teacup plates like that. They're super handy. I have a bunch around my house. And I love this brass plant stand. It was so, so cool. She had so many different little brass plant stands, and I wanted to take them all home. I wanted every single one. Look how cool they are. They're just so cool and super interesting. Yep, checking for the hole in the bottom. No hole, but we checked the price and it's $15. And I really liked this frame as well. Looking back, I kind of wish I would have gotten more frames. And I liked that she included the year for that one. It was 1974. I really liked this plant stand as well. So, of course, checking the price there, $30. Really not bad. And this was also such a cool planter for $15, but no drainage hole. Very sad. And the last little area that I checked out was just Ted Lare's actual, plant section. And there was this really, really interesting Rhaphidophora I had never seen next to this Philodendron tortum. Unfortunately, I think that they had already sold a ton of their plants at this point, so I didn't get to see as many as I would have liked to have seen, but there were still so many beautiful plants to look at, and I had such an awesome time checking them all out. So make sure to keep watching if you want to see the haul. Guys, that was so much fun. Oh my gosh, it was more fun than I ever anticipated. Again, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I didn't know what to expect. I bought so many plants and so many planty things, and I can't wait to show you all everything. I was going to drive home to do the haul, but I can't wait. I'm riding a high of buying all these. So I think I'll show you the plants first, and then I'll show you all of the little vintagey items that I got. And I'll tell you, guys, I'm just so happy. And I met so many of you all that watch my videos. It was crazy. Thank you so much to all the people that I met. You were all so kind. And it just makes my day to like actually see people who watch my videos. Like sometimes it just feels like I'm putting these out until the nether, and I don't know, like it's just really nice to meet people who genuinely enjoy watching my videos. So we'll start with, maybe we'll go in like order. Let's go in order of the things I bought, actually. We'll just go in straight order, plant or not. So the very first plant that I bought was this amidrium that actually has a root poking out of the bottom. So I guess I'll have to repot this. It's an amidrium zippilianum variegated. It was $40. And look at how cool this is. It was, the Elite Leaf, which is an Omaha-based plant company, and she sells online. She was so nice, very knowledgeable. She said they're really easy plants, they just don't like to be like fully dried out. So I'll have to be careful of that, but this was very much an impulse purchase. But I just saw it and I had to have it, and it's so cool. And in general, I would say when you're making planty purchases, it's good to go in with a plan. I went in with no plan today. There was no like, I didn't go in with a budget. I mean, I had a general budget that I definitely, like in my head, I was like, you know, I don't want to spend too much money. I went over that. I went over that for sure. I bought a lot of things, but anyway, go in with a plan. If you ever go to an event like this, go in with a plan. There's your finance tip of the day. Don't be me. But I had so much fun. I had so much fun. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm so excited about that plant. Absolutely pumped. So that was the first thing that I bought. And I was filming and I saw it, and I saw that she only had a couple, and I was like, I've never seen these in real life. People are going to buy these. So I was like, can I buy this and can you hold on to it for me? And she said yes. And so I went back and got it later. And I did that with one other plant as well. So this plant is from Sylvia, and she doesn't have a website or anything yet, but I loved her plants. They were so amazing. And it is an anthurium vegetii. And if you've been following my channel for a long time, I've had this on my wish list for so long, and there's actually 2 plants in here, which is so exciting. And this was only $15. I've looked at buying these online and I was totally ready to spend like $40-50 plus shipping. So this was such a great find. She had like 10 of them and I didn't even care. I was like, I need to pick out the exact one that I want right now, and like, please hold on to it for me. And she did. Like, I could have waited, but I couldn't wait. I had to have it. They look so cool. They're nicknamed the King Anthurium because they get longer and get these like cool ribs, and they just look amazing. And supposedly they're extremely easy to grow because they've got like a nice thick leaf to them. And we did get a crazy rain shower like right in the middle of everything, but it was right when I had like moved inside, so it worked out very well for me. But this got a little wet in the process. But yeah, so I bought this and I asked her to hold on to it for me, but she had other plants that I was eyeing, and I was like, maybe I'll go back and get those. And so I was like, hold on to this for me and I will be back. And then I went inside and I bought some other fun things. So I'm going to start with this. This is from Planted with Grace Vintage. I think this frame is so unique. I'm normally not into the heart thing. Like, normally I feel like hearts are a little too on the nose, if that makes sense. Like, when I'm thinking of like putting a picture of me and my fiance in a heart frame, it's like, that's a little too like, yeah, we know you love him kind of a thing. But this one in particular I think is so cool because there's like obviously this big heart and then this little heart. And so I'm thinking, you know, it could be 2 individual photos, or if I have a photo where I could put, maybe it's like Brian and I, and then our dogs are like right here, and we could just do one photo and like they're just placed just so. That'd be so cool. So I had to have it. It was $28 and it would like sit somewhere. I think I guess I could hang it on a wall as well, but it's just so cute and so unique. I really love this, and I'm so excited to have it. I just love Planted with Grace's whole area. Like, I could have bought so many of her things, and I did, but I could have bought more. So I got this little plant stake that says Grit and Grace, Planted with Grace on the bottom, and it's so well thought out that she treated it with some kind of like silicone-y It almost feels like rubber cement. I don't know what it is, but that way the wood won't rot. That was smart. And this was just free with all of my purchases, which was so nice. Okay, so I'll just unwrap one of these, but I bought 2 of these, and they are these mugs. These were $4 a piece, and I bought both of them. And they're like this speckly, it looks like somebody almost drew on them with a marker, and I collect these. So Brian's grandma made one years ago, and it has an owl on it, and we drink out of it all the time. And then this summer we were at a garage sale, and we saw 2 more mugs that were like the same design, but they had like a slightly different handle. And so we got this at the garage sale, and when I saw these, I knew that I had to have them. Like, we're just full-blown collectors now of this in particular. So I think Brian's gonna be so excited about these, even more than I was. So I'm very excited to show him these when I get home. Next, I bought this vintage plant pot for $25. Apparently it's a purple McCoy planter. And she had so many cool planters, and I really just want to step up my planter game, especially like vintage planters. I think they're so cool. I buy a lot of terracotta planters because they're cheap. I also just really like the look of a terracotta planter, but I really struggle to keep my plants watered in terracotta. So the more ceramic I have, the better. The water stays moist longer, which is a lot easier for me to handle. But I have gotten to the point where I refuse to buy a pot unless it has a hole in the bottom, because I don't like putting plastic pots in ceramic pots. I want to pot my plants directly in the ceramic. And I also find that drilling holes in my pots, I have really struggled with that. Like, it must be my drill bit, because I bought diamond drill bits, and like it literally will take me 30 straight minutes to drill a hole in the bottom of my pot. So if you guys have like an easier way, let me know. I was really excited about this pot because I have a green office, and I feel like purple is going to look so good next to my green walls. And then the kicker is that it matches this other thing, or works well with this other thing that I bought, which is this little brass plant stand for $15. And basically, I picked up the plant stand and I was like, this is such a cool plant stand. I've never seen anything like this. I really want to have more like vintagey looking things in my office. Like, I really try to blend vintage with new in my house, and I feel like I need like a little bit more vintage of a touch, because most of my furniture in my office in particular is new. Actually, I would say all of it except for one chair is brand new furniture in my office, whereas the rest of my house I have a lot of vintage furniture. Anyway, I need more vintage in my office. So I was like, I love this plant stand, I could put this in my office, but like, what pot is gonna fit in it? And I thought to myself, if this purple pot fits in this stand, I'm buying it. And look, it was a done deal. It was beautiful. And so then I'll probably put like a little tray under here just in case to catch anything. And I kind of like the juxtaposition of very like angular stripe with these like fun little feet. I love it. I love her. I'm so excited. All right, so the last 2 plants, I went back to Sylvia's little area because there were a couple plants that I was eyeing over there, but I needed to sit on it. And like, also one of my strategies was, you know, I really want this plant, but you know, maybe it's a little expensive. I already bought plants. I don't need a million plants. I'll go walk around, and if it's still there when I come back, then I'll buy it. But if it's not there, then it wasn't meant to be, and I'll live and it's fine. I don't know if these strategies are normal. Let me know if you do these things or if I'm just weird. But I really wanted this plant, and it is this beautiful anthurium blush. It is so pretty. Clearly, I just felt like expanding my anthurium collection today because I bought 2, and I have 2 at home. So now I have 4. She said it's not a very difficult anthurium. It's got like a pretty established center right here. I don't know what you would call that. And it's just so pretty. Like, this leaf, it's okay. She's a little yellow. It's probably the oldest leaf. This leaf, she's cute. This leaf, newest leaf, beautiful and gorgeous. So this was $50. So it's definitely the most pricey plant that I purchased. I have been wanting to expand my anthurium collection. I've had my eye on a few that are kind of like this that I would consider getting. And I've never seen one of these in real life until today. A few vendors did have them, and I felt like this was the best price and was like really, really healthy. So had to go with this one. And Also, she did have 2, and by the time I walked around and came back, she only had 1. So then I didn't even have to consider like which one to get. It was like, well, there's only 1. They're both beautiful. There's only 1. I'll get this one. And the last plant that I purchased, which has also been on my wish list for an extremely long time, I filmed a wish list video a long time ago, actually, that probably over a year ago at this point, that I'll make sure to link below in case you're curious to see what was on my wish list like a year ago. A lot of the plants are still the same, and this is one of them. It is a variegated heartleaf philodendron. I have needed more trailing plants for a while and just like easy, pretty plants. So I was really, really excited that a lot of vendors did have heartleaf philodendron, but I felt like this vendor, I thought that she just had the best variegated heartleaf philodendron specimens and at the best price. So this was $25, and there are 2 plants in here. I really like that I can see the roots, so I knew what I was buying. I am so pumped about this. I think I am going to grow it trailing. You can grow these up a moss pole, but I have so many plants on moss poles now, and the anthurium is going on a moss pole, so this one is just going to be a really pretty trailing plant. I'll probably keep this in my sunroom, but I'm not sure. I'm so excited about it. Oh guys, this was so much fun. So that was my experience at the first annual Midwest Tropical Show. I'm really hoping that they do another one of these next year because I seriously had such a blast shopping everywhere. It was so nice that it was in one location, and it was just absolutely amazing and a fantastic time. Thank you so much. If you watched this whole video all the way through, make sure to check out some of my other plant shopping videos if you liked this one or any of my other videos. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye!